Hello, guys. I wanted to get into the signs in the sky, the signs in the moon, and the sun and the stars that are to let us know that we're about to enter the Great Tribulation because lots of people may not like to admit it. Lots of people may not like to be direct about it, but as these celestial events start popping off and getting more and more common, it seems that our world also seems to be slipping into a state of tribulation. Not to be cliche or anything, but there are warnings about what these things in the sky mean in the Bible. You have the celestial events that occur pre-tribulation, which are the signs in the moon and the sun. And then you have the celestial disturbance post tribulation, which is when the stars fall and then wormwood comes, etc. Now, if you've been watching my videos, you know that I've been breaking down the NASA DART mission, and I've been breaking down how NASA is essentially preparing humanity for celestial disturbance. Now, this is because they expect asteroids such as Apophis to start hitting Earth very soon. And I've even broke down Apophis 2029, Apophis 2036, and how this asteroid is very dangerous to Earth. And there's a reason that I like to break down these DART missions and these asteroids prior to giving y'all the information relevant to Scripture. And it's to show you that our world leaders, NASA, and all of these space agencies, such as SpaceX, whether you like it or not, they're preparing for celestial disturbance. Whether you like to admit it or not, United Nations is preparing for a global famine. That is what ending world hunger means. They're not talking about ending the hunger that occurs in third world countries. They cause all of that hunger. Colonization is the reason those kids are starving. What they're talking about with ending world hunger is controlling the global food supply. Why? Because it'll be completely synthetic. It'll be artificial. It'll be very beast-like. There will not be any natural foods on the earth. Why? Because the earth is expected to transform, to shift, aka global warming. If you're not aware about evolution or geological history of the earth makes a transition every few millions of years. They are expecting another transition, another geological shift to occur very soon. And they know that as a result, our food distribution system may be completely disrupted or entirely reset, just like everything else in this world. And if you read the Bible, where it talks about when these comets, when these stars hit the earth, the only people who are on earth after a certain point or around that point are those that have also been transformed themselves via the seal of God or the mark of the beast. The second reason that they know that a transformation will occur is that once the earth gets too hot via the sun, they know that the only way to survive being on this planet is to physically transform yourself. And if you don't believe any of this, I recommend you actually read the Bible and what it says, because you would be surprised about how this physical transformation occurs across humanity at around the same time that this earth starts transforming due to celestial events such as meteorites and the heating up of the sun. You would be surprised about how technological and how all of it is, because I've also broken down how Elon Musk, one of the reasons he really wants to go to Mars is because the Bible also talks about the second Earth after this one is destroyed. So yes, for some reason scientists, everything they do seems to be trying to prepare for God's judgment on the earth, specifically when the earth is destroyed via the stars in the sun. And it makes you wonder what these scientists expect to happen that they are not telling the rest of us about. Also, if you don't understand where lots of these scientists come from, lots of them are frat boys, lots of them are sorority girls, and I ain't finna lie, they're not allowed to tell the rest of us everything they know. That's just what it is. Therefore, when you have all of these people who, like at Cern, we see everything they do in their videos, everything they do outside of the science. We see all the witchcraft that they do down there at Cern with their little Hadron Collider, and we can tell where these scientists came from. We can tell they're frat boys and sorority girls. I can show you the clip of these nerdy ass niggas right now. But the crazy thing about Cern is that they turn on this Cern machine, suddenly half the population will start having sleep paralysis. They'll turn on this Cern machine, suddenly half the population is stabbing or shooting each other. And people don't understand that's why there is so much witchcraft, that's why there is so much demonism associated with the scientists who work at this Cern facility. The machine itself literally looks like a witchcraft symbol. The huge machine itself, by default, even though it is a technology, you cannot lie that there is something spiritual about this technology. And that's why I also want to talk about Doom, the video game Doom, because that game is about where scientists open a portal to hell. They straight up claim it's a portal. It's about scientists. The game isn't even on no spiritual shit. The game is about science. And they imply that hell is interdimensional. And then when you have scientists in real life playing around with these machines that break down the particles of our reality, that dismantle certain things in our reality, they basically have a portal-like effect. Now, with these portals, scientists claim that they're letting in certain particles into our reality. They claim that they're actually discovering certain particles. Now, these particles are actually spirits and entities. When they're discovering or letting in these certain particles, they're actually letting in certain energies and spirits. And you even see Cern talking about dismantling the God particle to let in these other particles. What they're doing is they're removing a protection veil that God has placed there. They're removing that momentarily to let in these other particles. And people don't realize that. People don't realize what they're doing is they're removing a certain spirit, a certain particle momentarily from our space-time reality, and by doing so, they allow these other spirits to enter through. And they refer to these spirits as particles. Now, if you don't know, CERN is also linked to the abyss. It's linked to antimatter and dark matter and all of that other stuff. Because these scientists down at CERN, they can use this machine to manifest dark matter and antimatter. And the thing about dark matter, antimatter is you have to isolate it from the rest of our atmosphere. Otherwise, it'll interact with our atmosphere and destroy itself. Now, it's almost like, why do you have to separate these two different realities? Otherwise, they annihilate each other by coming into contact. This is because this quote unquote antimatter is another reality. And scientists could not get that other reality to overlay on top of this one unless they have a full on convergence, a full on singularity of these two realities. Otherwise, you will just get a random mess of chaos. You get an explosion. When you try to layer that other reality on top of this one, that's physically what happened is you get an explosion. Secondly, United Nations is not just about uniting every earthly kingdom. United Nations is also about uniting every earthly kingdom with the demonic kingdom. That's why in their logo you see earth, but you also see the angel wings wrapped around the earth. United Nations is the merging of every earthly kingdom with the satanic kingdom. Now, we know this is true because historically in Egypt, this is what Pharaoh tried to do. Pharaoh tried to establish a demonic kingdom. Pharaoh oppressed a certain people of certain color because he didn't like them. And this is why the pyramid is on the dollar bill to this day, because it represents the same enslavement that God's people went through. And this is why it's so important that we don't forget about slavery, that we don't forget about Jim Crow law, and that we don't forget about what happened to lots of people around the world. Because lots of people around the world were demonically tortured, they were demonically oppressed, and they were literally killed and genocided for the fact that they believed in God. And this is why I'm saying that this isn't the first time that people have tried to establish demonic kingdoms, because you look at what certain emperors did back in the day. They were literally cutting off the heads of Christians. The Pharaoh tried to have baby Jesus killed as a baby. So if you don't historically believe that demons ran this planet, I recommend you look at what happened in Russia, where people was eating each other due to the fact that the Communist Party tried to establish a certain way of life, which led to people feeling like they was being tortured and oppressed. But certain people don't like to read. Certain people don't like to actually pick up a book. And then when you have certain things happening around the world, such as mental illness and people shooting and stabbing each other and all this other crazy stuff, and people don't realize that there's cause and effect. People don't realize that there's certain things happening which are causing all of this. But yeah, that's all I have for this video. I'll see y'all next video, and I hope God blesses y'all's day.